Making sure we're good. Yep, we're ready to roll.
Awesome.
Hello, everyone. This is Excessive BS, local and loud. French and I are here tonight with Addison Lunn, catcher, sophomore from Appleton, Wisconsin, with the East Carolina. So, Addison, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm super excited to talk to you guys. And again, thank you so much for having me.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself. Coming from Wisconsin, out of high school, you went to Charlotte previously before East Carolina. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, my recruiting situation was not normal. Not like the others. Being from Wisconsin, softball. People hear about softball and they're like, oh, like when do you guys play? Like, where do you guys practice? You guys have snow 7 months, 8 months out of the year. And there are so many great players up there that don't get the recognition that they deserve, because when you hear about softball, you hear about California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, all the southern states and out west. And there's so much talent out in Wisconsin that just gets put under the carpet, really. And I started locally, and when I was on these teams, like, I was excelling, and I decided to play down south. I knew that I wanted to go to college down south to get away from the cold weather. And so I joined a Tennessee Mojo team. I actually went to a camp. This was during COVID, and got recruited that way. Played at some of the biggest tournaments in the country, played some of the best teams. And from there, so an incident happened, and it was my summer. So it's like the summer before September 1st of when you would get recruited. And basically I was looking for a new team. There was a big issue on the team, and decided to leave. And it was an interesting situation where I was on the download talking to these coaches. My coach was talking to them, and I had a lot of Power 4, Power 5 interest. And basically went out to PGF Nationals on a Atlanta Vipers team, and these coaches didn't know where I was at. Basically, they went out to watch my Tennessee Mojo team. Turns out I was on a different team. So it was a big thing. And then I originally was committed to University of Memphis, so still in the American Conference. And the summer before I got to college, our head coach decides she wants to leave and be the pitching coach at Florida Gators. So that was kind of a whole bind where I was like, well, the uncertainty of who's going to be the coach. She was rebuilding the program at Memphis. I really didn't know what to do. So I went through the NCAA and de-signed my NLI. And that's how I got committed to Charlotte. They reached out. They were like, hey, we saw you. We've seen you at Travel Ball, and we just saw that you decommitted. Come on a visit. And I fell in love with campus. It was amazing. I love Charlotte. I love the city. And again, the American Conference is such a competitive conference. Like, I think the Sun Belt Conference and American could slide into a Power 5 and be one of the top conferences in the country. So I knew I wanted to stick there. So.
Okay. So, what was some of your high school highlights, honors, stuff like that coming out of high school before going to Charlotte?
Yeah, I made all conference, all district. My junior year, I hit 9 home runs, and broke the school record for a total of 16 or 17 career home runs. And this was only in 2 years, because I originally was at a different school my freshman year and part of my sophomore, and decided to transfer in October of my sophomore year to Menasha, is the high school that I graduated from. The WIA was like, okay, you're coming from a D1 school to a D2 school, and they took away my eligibility. So my sophomore year, I had to play JV, which it was tough. Let me tell you, it was. There's a big difference between varsity in Wisconsin and JV. You have JVs for the girls that are really trying out the sport, doing something to get out there in high school, and it was tough. Let me tell you, being nationally ranked and going to the biggest tournaments and playing with girls who I'm scared to throw to. Like I'm so scared. And it was actually funny. My sophomore year, I pitched because our JV pitcher could not get it across the plate, and so that was something fun that I got to do because I used to be a pitcher, so that was cool. But in my junior and senior year, I hit 16 or 17 home runs, broke the career school record in just 2 years. Wish I had 4. I wanted to see what I could have done in 4. So
Yeah, I know how it is being a catcher too. So you know, the drills and everything you got to go through in college compared to high school. You know, what's the difference?
it's huge. You know, you just go to practice and catch live pitching, do bullpens. I know in high school we didn't have a catching coach. We had a dad basically go, frame a ball. This is how you block. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I go to my freshman year at Charlotte, and I had Paige Hallestad as my catching coach, who played at UCLA, starting catcher there. And I grew up watching her play. So that was such like a surreal moment for me. Like, oh my gosh, like my childhood favorite player is now my coach and is coaching me catch. And so I learned so much behind the plate, and just like simple things that, you know, coaches should teach and they don't. And it has really elevated my play behind the plate and IQ, but also getting that freshman, like I think I started 80% of the season last year behind the plate before I had an illness and ended the season. But I learned so much as a freshman behind the plate. Like it's insane.
So the difference in catching from Charlotte to East Carolina, is there much of a change, or is it pretty much about the same?
Yeah, it's about the same. You know, you still got to learn the pitchers. Like definitely going from one program to the next, you have a very short time to learn the pitchers. You know, we have a very diverse range of a pitching staff at ECU. We've got drop ball, rise ball pitchers. We've got speed. We've got a little bit on the slower side. So it's like being able to go from a fast pitcher to that's throwing maybe 67, 68 to a pitcher that's throwing maybe low 60s with more spin is crazy. Like you got to be able to adjust on the dot with timing, being able to frame their pitches and all of that.
So, looking over your schedule, where is a team that you've not got to face yet that you're really excited about going to on the road?
On the road? I know at home, but I would say on the road, a lot of them were our conference that were on the road. We did get to play Duke just a couple weeks ago, and we beat them. So that was a huge win for our program. You know, they were ranked 18th at Power 4, if you want to call it, in softball. So that was a great win, and our freshman pitcher absolutely dominated. Like in the fall, we played NC State, and she kind of had a little rough patch, and you could see like her confidence were down. And it was a completely different pitcher when she pitched against Duke. Like it was insane. The confidence she had in the circle, and she's striking out and making these big time hitters miss-hit balls, and that's what we need. So that was a great win. That was a good team effort. So that was probably, even though it already happened, a great on the road win.
So what is your home matchup?
Stanford. So Stanford's coming to us for a midweek, and I wish Canada was still there, because that would just be so cool, being able to play Canada. But I think Stanford, that's going to be a good matchup, and I'm looking forward to that. I mean, they've made it to the World Series in the past years. You know, they've always been a team to look out for. So if we can get a win out of that, I think that would really highlight and give us the confidence as a team that we need to go into conference and even hosting the American Conference Championship in Greenville here.
Okay, so I'm going to turn over and ask this question. What is a dream matchup, you on the road, anywhere that you could be?
I have a few. I would say Oklahoma. I mean, playing at Love Field, that's crazy. Like, I've actually played at the USA, their old field, the USA softball complex, back in like 14U. I did like a nationals thing, so that was cool. But I think being in the environment of all the fans and everything, that would just be so cool. Like last year we played at LSU, which growing up, I would go to camps there, and I knew these girls that were playing on the team. Being able to be the starting catcher when we play LSU, that was awesome. Or we played in the Clearwater Invitational last year, and UCLA was my dream school. And so that's again why I kind of like idolize Paige Hallistad. But we played UCLA on the nighttime game on ESPN, and I was the starting catcher, and it was insane seeing like Megan Grant step up to the plate. I'm like, you're jacked. Like, you're a strong girl. Like, oh my gosh. Or just seeing what the girls were doing behind the plate. Like there was a ball that I went down to block, and the girl one-hopped it to the fence. I'm like, how did you hit that? Like, that I went down to block that. Those girls are so strong, and so those are kind of some of the things.
Okay.
So in travel ball, how far did where all did you go? And, you get to see all these. I know a lot around here, they travel. We got some that's traveled out west, and, she played at Greenville, and then now she's at Lipscomb.
Okay.
And, she traveled everywhere and got her name out there, so where's the big places that you played in on travel?
I mean, again, like, where haven't I gone? My dad and I, we would drive everywhere. We've drove to Atlanta. We went to Florida. The only tournament that we did fly out to is California. But we would go to Colorado each year for the Sparkler. We would go to Show Me the Money, Chattanooga, Scenic City, like the biggest tournaments in the country we would be driving to. We actually made a stretch from Show Me the Money in Dalton, Georgia, to Colorado. And we had the Sunday college camps, and we got done on, I think, a Friday for Show Me the Money, or Saturday. I forget the exact timeline, but we had 24 hours to get to Colorado so I could get to the camps. And we made that drive without stopping. We did not stop at a hotel to sleep. My dad was just like pounding 5-hour energies to make it to the camps. Like, he sacrificed so much for me, and like without him, I wouldn't be where I am. Like, he sacrificed so much money, time, effort, and everything. So
on your transfer, was there a reason that you decided to go from Charlotte to ECU, or just something happened? Or
there were some issues, without kind of getting into like the nitty gritty, but there was just some team dynamics. A lot of going back and forth with each other and talking behind people's backs, and I don't deal with that. I like being on a team where, you know, you don't have to like everyone. We're girls. We're gonna get on each other's nerves. We're around each other 24/7. But when we're on the field at weights doing any team stuff, you gotta be nice to each other. You gotta do all that stuff. Doesn't mean you have to hang out and be buddy with each other after we're done with all that stuff. And these girls would just it would happen during like trips, practice, weights, and I was like, this isn't the type of environment that I want to be in. And not gonna lie, I was scared of the transfer portal. You always hear stories about players who end their career in it, because not everyone who goes in the portal gets picked up. So it was a last minute thing and a very scary thing. But what really helped me is I did the Chattanooga league, or the college league, and it was competitive. I mean, we only had 4 teams. It's nothing compared like to the Florida league. I mean, they've got like 12, 14 teams. So it was good, and so many college coaches came to that. I actually got Coach Winkler to come because I wanted to stay in North Carolina. I love it here. Everything about it is amazing. Like, it feels like a second home to me. I wanted to stay local. So I was really targeting ECU, and when he invited me on a visit and gave me an offer, I was like, this is where I want to be. Like, sometimes ECU gets a bad rep, but again, I wanted to stay into the American Conference, very competitive, and he was bringing in some good girls, and the way that he acted when we played them last year at Charlotte is a coach that I want to play for. We had a doubleheader and we were run ruling them, and never once did he shut down as a coach. He was constantly cheering on his girls, like, come on, you got this. We ended up run ruling them, and the next game after that, they ended up run ruling us. So I found that so impressive, because if that was us last year, we would have just shut down for the second game. So it shows that he's a great coach, and, you know, he believes in his players, and the players believe in them as well. So that was a culture that I wanted to be with.
Was there any other colleges reach out during the transfer portal that?
Yeah, so I actually went on a visit to Central Arkansas, and I really enjoyed it. It was between Central Arkansas and ECU. Like, I've been to Arkansas, I loved it. Conway was gorgeous, and I could see myself there as well. And they gave me a very competitive offer with ECU. There was also 2 JUCOs. There was one, Joe Guthrie, who was actually my coach for the Chattanooga League, and that's in Alabama. And the coaches there were amazing. Like, my thing was I didn't want to go JUCO because I didn't want to transfer again in a year. I wanted to find my home for 3 years, but if nothing else worked out and I was like, you know, I would have been fine with the transfer portal, I would have went there in a heartbeat. I've worked with Jimmy Kalitis when he was at Arizona State, and he's actually the athletic director and assistant coach there. And I worked with them over the summer, and their knowledge of the game is insane. Like, I would love to play for them as a player. They're great coaches, but again, I wanted to find somewhere that I could be for 3 years. And then there was one more in Cocoa Beach, Florida. But I mean, I would have loved living by the beach, but again, the JUCO after transferring after a year. So.
Yeah. So what is the day in the life for you as a college athlete, day in and day out?
Long. Let me tell you that. Very, very long. Got to manage classes, weights, practice, all that stuff. Usually, we have our classes in the morning. So most days I just have 2 classes. And then I'll go to treatment, get some study hall hours in because I am a transfer. And then we'll go to practice for 3 to 4 hours, depending if we have weights or not, because we only get 4 hours of face-to-face contact a day. So if it's a 3-hour practice, we'll do some hitting, live fielding, situations, stuff like that, bullpens, and then we'll go to weights. And we actually just got a new weight coach. He came from Louisiana Tech, and amazing guy. Like, everyone was like super intimidated by him because we had a very down-to-earth weight coach in the fall and really got along. So we're like, oh, when he left, we're like, oh my gosh, who's going to be our weight coach? And he's so supportive. And again, like we get super lucky with the coaching and everyone that works in our campus.
So after college, what do you look to do after college, after maybe softball?
Well, that's still up in the air. Last year, I was actually majoring in motorsport and engineering. So I really like racing, Formula One. That's my big thing. So I really wanted to do that as a engineer and all that stuff. But basically, I had to pick between, when it came to my senior year at Charlotte, I had to choose between engineering or softball. Because I would have to do internships, travel, do all that stuff. And I'm like, well, softball's paying for that. Maybe whatever. So right now I'm doing public health with a nursing minor or something. It's all connected, whatever. It's a big, long title, but I really don't know what I want to do after college. I know I want to give back to people. I'm very personable. I love talking to people. If you can't tell, I'm a chatty Cathy. So something in the healthcare field for sure. Like if that's helping athletes, I don't know.
Yeah, one thing, we've talked before, looking at the NILs, what's your opinion on all the NIL deals and all this whole stuff that's going on in the college world today?
Personally, I might be biased, but I love it. I actually just recently got an NIL with Chick-fil-A here in Greenville. So, I mean, I might be biased, but I love NILs. Of course, it's nothing compared to a girl at Oklahoma or candidate at Texas Tech. Like, yes, it's nothing compared to that, but it's still something that helps out on top of your, your scholarship and stuff. So I could not think of the word. Like on top of your scholarship. I also think that if you're doing it with companies, it's a great way to, connect with things in the area. Like I know one of the girls on the team, I don't really know if it's an NIL or like a partnership, but she always posts about like a restaurant, a chicken place here in Greenville. And it's kind of a tinier place. It's not a chain. And I think it's a great way to connect with these smaller, companies and businesses in the area. So I love it. And it never hurts to, network with people because, again, college is only 4 years. And my dad has always told me that who you meet in college is what sets you up for outside of it. You never know who you're going to meet, and you always treat people with respect, give them the time that they ask for, and you never know what will happen from it. So,
we've talked, in where we do our football show, and you got all these big athletes that's just chasing the money, and well, we're going to jump ship from this school to this school because hey, we got more money.
yeah.
We've talked about, if they're going to do it that way, kind of, okay, well, you get so much for, you know, at a time, that you don't get a big lump sum and see, you know, how their opinion will be then. Because in our opinion, you know, we've been back and forth in football about how it's kind of, you know, it's made football a little bit more even throughout the, you know, the country, but it's hurting some teams and making other teams better. So, you know, we was just wondering, you know, what kind of opinion you'd have on that.
Yeah, I mean, with like Texas Tech, for example, in the softball community, like Patrick Mahomes is like giving Canada money, being partner and all that stuff. So it's like, yes, there's a good and a bad side. I mean, there's always good and evil to everything. I think it's just being able to regulate how much people are making and seeing if both sides are getting the correct like distribution of things. Like you can't be getting like $1 million for doing one like post or one little event. Like that's insane. But I don't know what Canada did with Patrick Mahomes, like how that's working. But hey, she's the first $1 million NIL softball athlete. So props to her. Like I wish that was me. I don't know what I would do with $1 million.
I agree. So I have a little side question here. I seen it when we first got on. I seen the dog in the background. Big animal lover here. What kind of dog do you have?
He is a plot hound. It's actually the North Carolina state dog. So rescued him, or I actually went to volunteer hours for softball at the Greenville Humane Society. And you can either do laundry or take dogs out for like a half a day or a day. And I was like, you know what? I love dogs, whatever. Let's take him out or take a dog out. And I got him and I was like, Dad, Mom, like I need him. Like he is such a sweetheart. And they're like, okay, fine. And yeah, we actually went to the beach today and he got to go to the ocean for the first time. So that was interesting. And now he's looking out the window. He's so dumb. I mean, he's a little puppy. He's so curious. Sometimes gets on my nerves, but he's the best snuggle bug ever. Like he's the sweetest.
All right, so one question about, you know, so I caught in high school and growing up through little leagues and all that. What is your recovery process after like a long series, like a weekend series?
Gotta shout out my trainer for this. She helps me so much. We'll do ice baths, TENS units. One thing that I have really bad hips, so we'll do like hip release. And one issue that actually has been occurring is I've been having a lot of lower back pain. And it's because my hips are so tight. So it's causing my back to be sore and all that stuff. So I feel like being able to, you know, do the correct stretching and rehabilitation really helped, because through high school and travel ball, once the game was done, I was done. I didn't do anything else. I didn't ice, I didn't stretch, I didn't do a little post-game walk or like a little jog. And let me tell you, I'm only 19, but I'm feeling it. Those long days, I feel like I have a body of an 80-year-old. Like I'll joke around with the girls. It's so bad, but just basic mobility, stretching, and even cool down walking is insane. Like people are like, "Oh, like you just walk?" Yes, it helps so much. Like just being able to help your heart rate go down, your body just slow down and release those, like, I think it's amino acids that gets built up, help release those, really, really help.
Yeah, I feel it every day. My knees pop and crack on me all the time. So
Yes.
I know that feeling all too well. So if you wasn't a catcher, what's your secondary position?
My secondary is third base.
I like the hot corner. That hot corners, that's exactly how I am. I like getting in the action.
Yeah, I love third base because I don't got time to think. It's my bread and butter. I think my glove work, my dad thinks that I'm a better third baseman than catcher, but personally, vocally and leadership wise, I think I'm better behind the plate. But let me tell you, my glove work, I don't like boasting or like being like, oh, like I don't want to sound egotistical or whatever, because that's not who I am. But let me tell you, I'll watch videos of me fielding and I'm like, man, my glove work is good. Like I really worked hard on that. Like it looks good.
Yeah, I played golf. I didn't do the whole softball, baseball scene. I tried adult softball. I love the sport, but I'm a golfer.
Yeah.
That's my cup of tea. But yeah, got any questions for us tonight?
Yeah, not that I know of. I mean, thank you again for having me. Like, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and talking to me. I'm a very talkative person, if you can't tell. So, whenever I can sit down and just, talk, I love that. So, thank you guys again.
Yeah, no, we're glad to have you here. Really enjoyed it. Thank you for your time, taking your time out of your day.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate it. And that's Excessive BS. Thank you, Addison.
Thank you so much.